everybody. You are watching LA Live News Tonight. I'm Marla Tejas.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Christine Devine. It's possible me just getting over it.
Yeah, Fox 11's Laura Diaz. She's live there in Sherman Oaks with information for those who have it and those who do not want to get it. Laura.
Well, Marla and Christine, that's so very true. I can tell you right now, it's still not too late to go out and get a flu shot. And if you are feeling horribly, there are some remedies out there that'll make you feel a lot more comfortable.
Oh my gosh, she's so good, right? So brave. So brave. Can I get a high five? Yeah.
This video of people getting vaccines for free against the flu show people lining up at Cedars-Sinai. Now, that small child you just saw took getting that shot in stride, but doctors say the flu is still surging. Likely it took off at Thanksgiving when a lot of people decided to get together with loved ones. They didn't wear masks. They kissed their loved ones. All that helps to spread the virus. Now, large gatherings of people, it tends to spread quickly. Some studies show that it's beating last year's numbers. The flu most often reported is H3N2. Symptoms that are fever, body aches, but physicians telling me tonight that there are medications that you can take to make you feel more comfortable.
Our long-term studies have shown that oseltamivir, which is the primary one that we use, takes about a day to a day and a half off the average duration of symptoms.
Well, if you've had it any time recently, you'll take a day or a day and a half of feeling a little bit better, right? It's quite uncomfortable. Of course, we're having this discussion about the surge as the CDC came out today recommending childhood vaccines. They're cutting them back dramatically. But here in LA County, I'm told by all these physicians that they are following the mandates that are set down by the state. I'm quoting here, there is no new scientific evidence indicating that the existing childhood vaccination schedule is ineffective or unsafe. So in other words, they're recommending that you do get your child immunized against flu and many other childhood maladies that can occur. I'm Laura Diaz reporting live from Sherman Oaks, sending it back to the studio.
And Laura, we're not just concerned about those yucky symptoms that make you feel so bad. People can actually end up in the hospital with this.
Yes, the doctors told me that those are very extreme cases, Christine. I think there were only 6 that had been reported in the entire country where people went to the hospital and had extremely severe symptoms. But it is quite important to stay home, to stay hydrated, and if you can, get the medication. But of course, getting the immunization is step 1. A lot of people in California have gotten it, but they're saying that people in general have cut back on getting immunized, whether that's because there's sort of an immunization overload and they're tired of getting them, or if they've made a conscious decision not to get immunized.
Well, it's no fun when you get it. All right, Laura.
Either way.
Developing tonight, we're hearing from the family of a man who authorities say was firing gunshots in celebration of the new year when he was shot and killed by an off-duty ICE agent. Fox 11's Rachel Aragon went to Universal City where the family's attorney is calling for a thorough investigation.
It's hard. Oh my God, he just loves so deeply.
Just days into the new year, the mother of 43-year-old Keith Porter is still filled with grief and disbelief. According to law enforcement, her son Keith fired celebratory gunshots into the air with an AR-15 style rifle outside his apartment complex on New Year's Eve.
Armed with an AR-15 rifle, possibly suffering from a gunshot wound.
An LAPD report states the off-duty federal officer confronted Porter, identified himself as law enforcement, and claims Porter fired toward him, prompting the officer to return fire.
What should have been a simple arrest and possible a citation has turned into a death sentence.
The family's attorney says this all could have been avoided.
But instead of staying in his apartment for a trained law enforcement officer from LAPD to respond, he made the premeditated and calculated decision to grab a firearm.
Fox 11 reached out to the Department of Homeland Security. In a statement, the department said the off-duty ICE officer bravely responded to an active shooter situation at his apartment complex. In order to protect his life and that of others, he was forced to defensively use his weapon. DHS goes on to say their officer immediately called police.
According to his version, Keith shot 3 shots towards him. We have questions on if there was any shell casing recovered from Keith's weapon that would indicate he in fact fired the weapon 3 times.
Keith's family and their attorneys say they have yet to find a witness to corroborate that the father of 2 fired towards the off-duty officer. In Universal City, Rachel Aragon, Fox 11 News.
Only on Fox 11, a string of bold burglaries targeting collectible card shops. Thieves have been making off with hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of rare items. Fox 11's Gina Silva talked to store owners about this latest crime wave.
Armed with saws and crowbars, burglars smash display cases and take collectible cards from Simi Valley Sports Cards early Sunday morning.
This has been happening to a lot of local shops in LA and Ventura counties. I mean, it just keeps happening.
On Sunday night in West LA, thieves targeted another card shop.
They were robbed at gunpoint and assaulted for about between $300,000 and $500,000 worth of their collection.
You heard right, between $300,000 and $500,000 worth of Pokémon cards. Danny Lesterman, co-owner of RWT Collective, says the victim was a customer who had just left the shop.
In the video, we can see these 2 gentlemen come in, just quickly look at a group of people showing off and sharing their high-end cards.
Security cameras captured these 2 who Danny says were later identified by the victim. We are not showing their faces because police have not officially named them as suspects. Store employees believe the 2 men targeted the victim and followed him into the parking garage.
We already had a smash and grab a couple months ago, a really meticulous, professional, well-thought-out operation where they found the only weak spot in the wall and sawed through blindly from the other side, and we're in and out in a matter of 3-4 minutes.
For those who are not into Pokemon cards, it might be hard to believe some are worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. Danny explains it like this.
It's not just a card game that people play, but it's also something that people collect, and it can have really wide-ranging levels of value. There are some out there that are famously going for more than $1 million right now.
The LAPD is investigating the robbery here in West LA, while the Simi Valley Police is investigating the burglary in their city. If you know anything about these 2 cases, contact authorities. I'm Gina Silva, Fox 11 News.
All right, live look outside. That is Santa Monica off there in the distance. We're finally drying out, but the nights, they will be getting a little colder.
Meteorologist Star Harvey here now with the forecast as we start a new work week. Star?
Yeah, you know, as we push through this week, we will noticeably have those cooler temperatures, especially for the middle of the weekend, pushing into our Friday. As of now, we are mostly dry. We do have some wet weather off to the north of us, also to the west across San Luis Obispo, some very spotty showers, but across the LA metro area, a difference in just about a day makes. Over the weekend, lots of rainfall. I do have some numbers. I'll bring those up a little bit later in our show here, but we are left behind with our temperatures in the low to upper 50s, depending on where you are. 55 in Ontario, 57 in El Monte, Malibu, 59 degrees, and up in Thousand Oak, 51 degrees. We will be looking at some Santa Anas pushing in later this week. As of right now, we are seeing our winds on the calm side, about 5 miles per hour for some of us. As we shift gears into tonight, it will be cool out there, but not the coolest that we'll see this week. We do have some 40s up across Burbank, Pasadena later tonight, and we'll have those 50s along the coast. We do have a very small chance for some more precipitation, possibly making it into the forecast. We'll talk more about what your day tomorrow looks like, but also your Wednesday. As you can see, getting through the back half of the week and into the weekend, things are looking gorgeous. More details in your 7-day coming up. For now, back to you, ladies.
All right, Star, thank you. The recent storm causing a slew of pothole problems across Southern California tonight.
Any drivers now left with blown out tires and damage. Repair crews are working around the clock to plug up those holes. Fox 11's Haley Winslow is in West LA with more.
Worse than LA traffic? Potholes.
Oh my gosh, it stresses me out every day. I'm thinking about the alignment on my car.
I hate it so much.
We just can't believe that these aren't fixed, and we've seen people ruin their cars.
Recent rain has wreaked havoc on Southern California roads, toppling trees, triggering mudslides, and weakening the structure of streets, creating the potholes we know and hate.
And I get so frustrated with the city. I'm like, where's our money going? Somebody please.
The city of LA says repair crews are working overtime to keep up with damage left by the holiday storms, with a goal of repairing reported potholes by the next business day. For drivers, that help can't come fast enough. LAPD shut down La Brea Avenue near West Haven Sunday night after 15 cars blew tires hitting the hazard. And a similar scene in Playa del Rey. Culver Boulevard temporarily closed after too many pop tires.
No joke, like 8 cars parked on the side, and there was like 2 tow trucks.
I've almost come into a head-on car accident because I'm trying to avoid the pothole and not paying attention to where I'm going. So yeah, it's pretty ridiculous.
It's something that should easily be fixed, especially if it's a busy street.
Even more dangerous, hitting one on a road bike.
You could seriously hurt yourself on a bike if you hit a pothole. Yeah, you could fly right off.
What would you compare the annoyance of hitting a pothole to?
Oh, that's a good question. Getting pooped on by a bird when you're just walking down the street.
That's supposed to be the luck, right? Hitting a pothole can't
exactly.
Nothing positive about potholes. Now flooding our streets as SoCal finally dries out.
If you'd like to report a pothole, you can call 311 or go to the My LA 311 app. In West LA, I'm Haley Winslow, Fox 11 News.
Still ahead at 8, from dictator to detainee, Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro appears before an American judge.
Plus, finding hope within the ashes, the local artist turned chimneys that survived the wildfires into a memorial for victims. Next. The world watched today as ousted Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro faced a federal judge in a New York City courtroom.
Pleading not guilty to drug trafficking charges. Fox's Connor Hansen tonight with what the next steps are in this legal process.
Venezuela's former leader starting to lay the groundwork of his case before a judge Monday in what might end up being a prolonged legal battle over whether he can stand trial here in the U.S. Former Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro entering a not guilty plea Monday in Manhattan federal court. The deposed dictator faces charges alleging he oversaw an illegal drug network that trafficked cocaine into the United States.
Mr. Maduro made it very clear before the judge that he believes that he had been kidnapped and that he was still, at this time, the legitimate president of Venezuela.
Legal experts have questioned whether the U.S. operation to seize Maduro violated international law. But with the case being tried on U.S. soil, that may not matter.
The fact that he is being arraigned in a court in New York in the Southern District is a sign that the DOJ believes that this case has great merit.
Meanwhile, top lawmakers were briefed Monday on Capitol Hill, with Democrats pressing the White House for answers.
Their plan for the U.S. running Venezuela is vague, based on wishful thinking, and unsatisfying.
The administration insists it's following all the proper protocols.
Very highly successful military operation. I think we should be talking more about the skill, competency, precision of the greatest fighting force the world has ever seen.
Maduro will be back in court on March 17th. In New York, Connor Hansen, Fox News.
Well, about 30,000 Venezuelans live in California. How do some of them feel about Maduro's arrest?
Fox 11's Christina Gonzalez went to different parts of SoCal to find out.
Making traditional Venezuelan arepas. One of the many restaurants catering to a community reacting to this weekend's capture of Nicolás Maduro by U.S. troops in Venezuela. We are grateful for Trump's actions, says the owner of Nova Bakery in Long Beach. At Chamo's restaurant in Pasadena, Venezuelans gathered to celebrate upon hearing the news. The owner explaining why so many left that country.
No medicine. You see kids go on the garbage for food.
Las personas que murieron tratando de buscar un mejor futuro.
People died looking for a better life, says Josue Diaz. He says he sold his motorcycle in Venezuela 2 years ago and snuck out of the country. He ran to get this tattoo when he heard of Maduro's capture.
We are happy and nervous at the same time because we don't know what's going to happen.
The owner of Full Arepas in downtown L.A. echoes others, saying Maduro may be out of Venezuela, but his government remains in place. And the battle for control of the country's oil reserves, the largest in the world, is concerning, even as Venezuelans in L.A. are saying,
this is the first step, the first hope for Venezuela.
Gracias. The Instagram message from Maria Conchita Alonso, the Cuban-born Venezuelan-American actress, has been posting and protesting violence against Maduro's opposition in Venezuela for years.
Thank you, and welcome 2026.
Another reason for Venezuelans here to be happy is that Homeland Security just announced that those here under temporary protective status can now apply for asylum. In Los Angeles, I'm Christina Gonzalez, Fox 11 News.
Well, coming up, some California progressives are pushing ahead for a one-time tax on billionaires.
Many aren't on board. We'll break down the debate next.
Weather is sponsored by My Home Sold.
All right, we are in West Los Angeles, and we're looking north on Bundy Drive, and we are on Bundy Drive here in West LA. And you see a little bit of the cloud cover hanging out, some spotty showers, but by and large, the rain is gone. Let's check in with meteorologist Star Harvey. Hi, Star.
Hey there, Marla. You know, it's such a beautiful view to look outside of our studios here and see gorgeous conditions. It looked a lot different over the weekend. Now, through the rest of this evening and through tomorrow, we can expect to have partly cloudy to mostly cloudy skies, but also most of us will continue under dry conditions. We do have, I'd say, some patchy showers to get through for some of us over the next 2 days. A lot of our moisture still holding off towards the northern and central portions of our state here. So across San Jose, up through San Francisco, Sacramento, all the way up through Chico. Also out towards San Luis Obispo. So some more local. We do have, again, some spotty activity. As far as the LA area, we are dry out there. That was not the case the last 3 days. I went ahead and digged up some rain totals over the last 72 hours. And obviously some of us saw a lot more than others. The weekend was very wet for some of us. Montecito up near Santa Barbara, we saw our rain totals more than 2.5 inches. Sierra Madre, we got over 1.5 inches. And Sierra Madre, we did see less across the downtown LA area, over 1 inch there. And of course, Santa Monica, slightly over 1/2 inch. Now, as we do get through the next 2 days, I do have a system that we are tracking out towards the north of us. That system is expected to sag across our region as early as tomorrow and into our Wednesday. And with that, we could see some of this moisture brushing into our area. Again, we are looking at very spotty chance for this to happen. That system will move off to the east of us before we arrive at the end of this week, and then we have high pressure that will work its way in. Now, with this high pressure, it does do its best to warm us up, but it will also, with its motion, will bring in a moderate Santa and a wind event. So we are looking at the chance for some gusty conditions for the end of this week, Thursday through at least our weekend. As far as this system moving in or closer to us tomorrow and sticking around through Wednesday, we're not looking at much of rainfall accumulated with this system. Nothing like what we saw over the weekend. When we look at our key over here, we are talking under 1/4 inch at best. Now, here's a look at our temperatures. They are going to be cooling down as we move into the second part of our week. And I'm talking about our temperatures at night and waking up in the morning. So our lows, typically for LA, we are at about 49 degrees. That's our average. As you can see, we push into Thursday and also this weekend, and those temperatures for our lows will be sliding below where they are typically at for this time of the year. As far as our highs, we can expect to be near average through the first half of our week, and then as we get into our weekend, we start to see a nice little warm up with that high pressure system moving in. I'll have a look at your 7-day coming up. For now, back to you.
Still ahead, remembering the past while pushing forward into the future.
We speak with an artist taking pieces of the wildfires and turning them into a memorial.
Live across SoCal, this is LA Live News Tonight on Fox 11 Plus.
New tonight, police are investigating a tow truck theft ring in Carson.
Fox 11's Ed Lascos joining us live with more. Ed, what'd you find out?
Yeah, you're right about that, Christine and Marla. You know, the LA County Sheriff's Department is handling this one. When it happens once, you think it's a random crime. But when it happens a second time, same neighborhood, same MO, you begin to look into the possibility of a crime ring operating in the area, especially since we've seen this type of thing in other areas and other communities over the last couple of months. Let's get to the latest situation. To the video we go this early in the morning, early December. That is a white Toyota Tacoma. It's in someone's driveway, and you see a tow truck pull in from the back. It hooks it up in mere seconds. The driver doesn't even get up. He doesn't even get out of his tow truck. He hooks it up, and in a blink of an eye, that Toyota is gone, driven off, stolen. And if that's not bad enough, 3 weeks later, same neighborhood about a block away, it happens again. Just about 2 o'clock in the morning, what appears to be the same white tow truck moves in, on this time a black Toyota Tacoma, hooks it up, and it is gone in the blink of an eye. The investigation is on while the owner of that white Toyota, she lost what she called her baby. She says it happened so fast. Listen.
And in less than 30 seconds, they hooked up my back tires, lifted the back of the truck, and took it off. My alarm didn't go off. No, nothing like that.
But fast. I mean, in a blink of an eye.
Exactly. It was 30 seconds.
In and out.
Yeah, in and out.
And the
guy didn't even get out of his truck. Yeah. The windows were all tinted out. Even the front windshield was tinted out. No license plate, nothing. Then 3 weeks later, I had a neighbor down here who had a black Toyota Tacoma, exact same, Toyota Tacoma TRD Pro, came up, hooked it up the same way on the tow truck, lifted up, and took it out of here. Same thing, less than 30 seconds. Yep.
So obviously,
in the blink of an eye, it was gone.
They're targeting.
They're targeting. You see a black car pull up and park, and they sit there for about a minute and a half. The tow truck comes, hooks up, and takes off. Then that black car leaves. So what we think they're doing is they're having these spotter cars go around, spot what they want, almost like take an inventory, like we'll take that one, we'll take that one, come, hook it up, and go.
And now live and go, as she says. How frightening is that? How so these Toyota Tacomas, a really top-line pickup truck, well worth it. Expensive vehicles, really nice vehicles, but that seems to be the target of this ring so far operating. We've done other stories, Fox 11, ladies, as you know, up in Rancho Cucamonga, up in the San Fernando Valley. It's happened over the last several months, but it's interesting in this neighborhood here in Carson twice in the last few weeks while the investigation is on. It really is frightening. How do you stop this type of thing? Well, you know, usually the tow trucks will grab them by the rear tires. They lift up the vehicle because those rear tires will not turn if the transmission is in park and if the parking brake is on. So the thought is you try to maybe back your vehicle in so you don't expose those back tires. But really, it's a frightening situation.
What do we know about the investigation with police right now?
Well, they're saying very little, saying they're looking into it, but that's it. They've taken the reports. They're talking to surrounding communities because in the last few months, we've done stories, as I was talking about, where it's been the same MO, the same type of tow truck. It strikes in very quickly, and usually neighbors will come out yelling, saying, hey, they think it's a repo guy coming, you know, middle of the night, that type of thing happens. But it doesn't seem to be the case, so it's a wide-open investigation at this point.
And there's no visuals on any people.
No, that's a strange thing. Wouldn't you think? Well, we've seen tow truck operators so many times that they got to get out and they meticulously hook up the vehicles. The owner here, the operator, I should say, the driver of that tow truck doesn't even get out of the vehicle. And then you have the interesting part, what they were saying, some of the witnesses, when you look at the security video, you see that black car, the spotter car, they're calling it, drives around the neighborhood first, sees what they're looking for, sees the target, and then mysteriously that tow truck drives by a few minutes later and the strike is on.
Wow. So there's an accomplice involved, too. Oh, my goodness.
It appears so, yes.
Yeah. All right, Ed, let's hope that they get a lead somehow, some way, so that we can put a stop to this. Ed Lascos live for us there. Thank you so much. Tonight, Long Beach police are looking for a driver they say was involved in a violent crash that left 2 people dead. It happened last night at 6th Street and Atlantic Avenue. Investigators say the suspect was driving a BMW going at a very high rate of speed when he ran a red light right there at Atlantic and slammed into a Nissan. A man and woman in that car were killed. 3 others were injured. Witnesses we spoke to were clearly shaken.
It was a big boom. All you heard was skrr, bow, bow, bow. And I was like, oh my God, that sounded like somebody got hurt. So when I came down, everybody was running from their house and gathering around. It was like 50 to 100 people out here. And one lady was trying to flip the young lady over. And the young lady looked like she was in her early 20s. And I kept saying, don't turn her over, just check her pulse and call 911. Nobody wanted to check her pulse. So I had to walk up there and I grabbed her right behind the ear, and I didn't feel a pulse.
Just devastating. Police say the driver fled on foot before law enforcement arrived. They're asking anyone who witnessed the crash to call the Long Beach Police Department.
Oh, look at this. Look at that. A little bit of spike strip action. Whoa, whoa. Oh, my God.
This morning, Steubenville calling up pursuit from Skyfox. A driver possibly in a stolen car evaded multiple spike strip attempts. Started around 8:30 in the morning in the Hollywood area. Went on for about 2 hours before LAPD called it off. Expect a slow commute on PCH in Malibu this week. Starting today, lanes will be reduced from Temescal Canyon Road and Pacific Palisades to Carbon Beach Terrace in Malibu. This will continue through Sunday as crews work to fix the roads. Some areas may be reduced to one lane with speeds down to 25 miles per hour. Drivers should check the Caltrans Quick Map for updates. New tonight, some progressive Democrats here in California proposing what they're calling a tax on the assets of billionaires in the state.
But Governor Gavin Newsom, a Democrat, is among many who are not supporting this idea. Fox's Max Gordon has details.
As California faces a healthcare funding crisis, some progressives see a one-time 5% tax of California's billionaires as a possible solution. According to state estimates, the proposed emergency tax would raise tens of billions of dollars, 90% of which would go to healthcare. United Healthcare Workers West, the union backing the proposal, says the money is needed to make up for healthcare funding cuts made in the big, beautiful bill. Democratic Socialist Bernie Sanders wants to take it even further.
While tens of millions struggle to put food on the table, pay for health care, pay for housing, the top 1% have never, ever had it so good.
The Vermont senator saying in a statement, this is a model that should be emulated throughout the country, which is why I will soon be introducing a national wealth tax on billionaires. But California Governor Gavin Newsom, seen by many as a possible 2028 presidential contender, remains against it. His office writing, the governor has consistently opposed state-level wealth taxes, recognizing that if implemented at a state-only level, they drive a race to the bottom. Critics also warned this temporary tax windfall for California would likely be coupled with a decrease in state income tax revenue due to billionaires fleeing the state. Bay Area-based investor Chamath Palihapitiya writing on X that people he knew with a collective net worth of $500 billion left the state for good before January 1st to avoid exposure to the potential tax. Peter Thiel's Thiel Capital, which has an office in Los Angeles, announcing a new Miami location on December 31st. Those behind the California Billionaire Tax Initiative must gather nearly 875,000 signatures by June 24th to qualify for November's ballot. The tax would then need to be approved by California voters. Max Gordon, Fox Business.
Tonight, Californians face a new fee on products with non-removable batteries like power tools or those singing greeting cards. 1.5% fee capped at $15 funds lithium battery recycling. These batteries often end up landfills, causing pollution and even fires. Officials hope the fee will reduce these risks and improve recycling efforts across the state.
In just 2 days, we will be marking 1 year since the deadly and devastating January wildfires.
While the road to recovery is proving to be long, locals are doing what they can to preserve the memory of what once was and to find pieces of hope in the ashes. We're looking here at one artist who's saving chimneys that survived the wildfires to turn them into a memorial. Joining us now is artist and founding director of House Museum, Evan Curtis Charles Hall. Hi.
Hey.
Chimneys.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Why chimneys?
It was the most present material that was still standing after the devastating fires. I think that many of us had this view driving down the Palisades or Altadena, seeing these lone chimneys just marking kind of almost like tombstones where the homes used to be.
Yeah.
Well, so you've preserved 6 of them?
Correct.
At this point. Do you have plans to preserve more? And when you preserve them, do they all go to the same place? How does this process work?
So the goal is to create a memorial of 7 freestanding chimneys that will be installed in the Santa Monica mountain range. So we were able to save 6. The 7th we weren't able to get to because of costs and the Army Corps of Engineers debris removal process. So we are going to be fabricating the 7th chimney with a little bit more artistic kind of intervention with that one.
What do homeowners say when you approach them and say, I'd like to take your chimney from the property here and put it into a memorial?
My chimney? You know, it's not something that people typically look at. You know, people have a relationship with their fireplace and their hearth where they may have celebrated Thanksgiving or Christmas or any of the holidays. But to see the entire chimney stack exposed is something that you would never see unless there's a natural disaster like this. So I think when we approached these homeowners, they were perplexed, but some of them, right, were open to listening and caught the vision and said that we could move to salvage their chimneys.
Well, you brought some of your vision. You brought here on set a brick, and this is noted to be from Malibu. Explain the purpose of this and how people can get involved, because people can get involved.
They can, yes. So we're fundraising for this memorial. It's a big fundraiser to install the chimneys, to reconstruct them, to rebuild them, to make sure that they're structurally sound and seismic and windproof. And so one of our fundraising campaigns is to equip fire survivors, homeowners, and also just collectors that want to participate in this recovery with commemorative red clay bricks that are produced locally here in Southern California that can be bought individually as collectibles, or they can be bought by pallet of 450 units to actually begin integrating into their new construction, their new homes. So if a homeowner wants to build a masonry wall or pave a brick driveway, these are professional grade construction materials that are almost like extensions of the Palisades Fire Memorial that we're building because they're connected to this project.
And the money benefits your effort.
Correct. It goes towards the realization of the Palisades Fire Memorial.
I just want to note that it's no surprise you're into the arts. Your father, Kevin Hall, is a famed designer, history with Halston, right? And then your sister's a designer for people like Beyonce.
Yes.
And so a memorial, why did you want to do this?
Why? I think, you know, when all of LA and the world was exposed to this catastrophe, we thought, you know, what can we do? How can we help? How do we help bring some type of closure, or how do we help families process the loss? And so there's something so powerful about saying, yeah, this maybe not everything is gone. Maybe there's something that's worth preserving, and through this kind of totem or this structure, we can remember the homeowner. We can remember the address, we can remember what took place in the home, and we can also honor their legacies. So I think, yeah, we moved just in an effort to help. And because House Museum specifically works with historic landmarks that are vacant or blighted or in need of care, this is the kind of solution that our organization came up with.
And quickly, you have some homes that have famous names tied to them.
Correct.
Name a few real quick.
We have a Ray Cappy chimney, an Eric Lloyd Wright chimney, and a Richard Neutra chimney.
Famed designers.
Architects, correct. Master architects.
So there is an event coming up with panelists and some community leaders this Wednesday, January 7th, obviously the anniversary. It's from 2 to 4:30 at the Chimney Yard. Information there on your screen. You can RSVP at the house.museum. Info@house.museum. Well, an interesting way to think about the fires. Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming in and sharing your idea and vision. It's really fascinating.
Thanks for having me.
Very unique, Evan. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right.
Well, Pasadena Humane Society is still caring for animals affected by the Eaton fire almost a year later. The shelter says it has provided medical care and reunification services for more than 1,500 pets and wildlife since the fire. Pasadena Humane says many animals arrived injured, displaced, or separated from their families, and for some, medical treatment is still ongoing. Well, join us all day and night this Wednesday, the 7th, for special wildfire coverage. We will be marking 1 year since the deadly Palisades and Eaton wildfires. We'll be live from both burn zones, speaking with victims and local leaders about the long recovery ahead and how much progress we've made so far.
You can catch it all morning on Good Day LA from 5 to 7 and on Fox 11 right here on Fox 11 Plus starting at 8 p.m. and on Good Night LA at 10. So pretty much all of our newscasts are going to be about remembering the Eaton and Palisades fires.
And on Wednesday, no rain is expected. Let's hope not anyway. Let's check in with Star Harvey.
That's right. We are expecting most of our rain will have moved on by the middle of the week. Right now, most of our moisture sitting off to the north of us, maybe gliding down into tomorrow. I'll have all of those details and more in the full forecast after this break.
After a breakout year, a local cheer team is fundraising for their competition season.
Fox 11's Coco McAvoy went to Glendora to check out the hard work that got them a chance at nationals.
There, we're at the Reformation Refill in Glendora. This is a huge fundraiser going on right now to benefit the Glendora Tartans Junior Pee Wee Cheer Squad. They are amazing. I am here with Jen now, the head coach. So if you can tell us all about this fundraiser.
Yes, hi, I'm here with the Glendora Tartan cheerleaders. We're raising fees to cover for competitions. We are selling delicious hot cocoa, coffee provided by the Starbucks in Glendora, as well as fresh pastries made by, not us. And we're out here just trying to raise money for all the kids to head over to competitions.
Because the competitions are so good for the girls and they want to all be together to do them.
Yeah, so we really want to take the financial burden off all the family members. Each competition costs anywhere between $50 to $115 per girl to go. So we started this GoFundMe that you can find on our Instagram on Tartan Football and Cheer. You click the link, it shows our GoFundMe.
Oh, we would love to teach you a cheer. This is fun.
It is called Red Hot. Please come join us.
Okay, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Cheers.
Okay, let's see.
Okay, it starts off with we clap. It's a side clap.
Okay.
And then you start doing the motions, which is one hand, a little shake.
I love that. Okay.
We flip our hair.
Okay,
So
let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. All right.
Army keeps those red, A to keeps those hot. Put it together when you got red hot, red hot, red hot.
Woo! I love. Oh, he smells all right. He smells hot.
Put it together when you got red hot, red hot, red hot.
Woo! I love it.
We love Coco.
Yeah. You do some pom-poms.
I know. Perfect. Give her
back in the bow.
Yep. She'd fit right in. She did fit right in. All right, talking about the forecast, gosh, so much rain of late, but we're finally done with it for a bit.
For the most part, yes.
Okay.
As we do move into tomorrow as well as Wednesday, we have, I'm talking about a 10 to 20% chance of some rain moving through. Most of us will not even see it. We're going to remain on the drier side, but we do have to put it in the forecast.
Yep.
Because there could be someone that does get that spot shower. So for the most part, beautiful conditions to get us through the rest of this week, especially coming off of the last 2 weeks that we've had. A very active weather pattern, not just for Christmas week, our New Year's week. So it is good to wake up this Monday and get us through this afternoon and rolling into our evening hours under mostly dry conditions. We do have still a lot of moisture holding off to the north and west of us. But as you can see here across the LA basin, mostly under those beautiful dry conditions. Let's get to our headlines. Just as you heard me explaining there to the ladies, we do still have a patchy chance for some showers pulling through for tomorrow as well as Wednesday. There's a system that wants to roll up, and it is projected to stay to the south of us, but we'll see if it does brush in across our area. We are also tracking a Santa Ana wind event due to be moderate, and it is expected to arrive for us later in the week. We are talking Thursday, stretching through our weekend. As we get into the middle of this week, we'll also be looking at a few cold nights, so temperatures dropping below their averages. But then by this weekend, our afternoon highs are expected to warm above their averages. So a little bit of everything going on for this week, but mostly dry. Here's a look into that low pressure system that is bringing its disturbances with it Tuesday as well as Wednesday. And again, it is trying its best to stay offshore. But again, with this motion of it, we could see some of that brushing into our region. So again, a very small chance for some spot showers arriving. That system will push off to the east of us, impacting our neighbors. And then we have another system moving in, high pressure. Now, this system is going to help us warm up as we do move towards the ending of our week, but also Thursday into Friday, and yes, our weekend as well. We do have this high pressure, and it will bring with it the warmth, but also the Santa Ana winds. Here's a look at those two systems at play. So tomorrow, I said spot chance. You'll see here on our model, it wants to indicate some of us do see it, not everyone. A lot more of us will be on the drier side, not just for tomorrow. We'll see also the clouds in place, and then as we do move into our Wednesday, we have that system mostly sitting to the south of LA, and we again could see it brush into our region, bringing in a chance for some showers for some of us. Rain totals not impressive at all. Most of us will see our rain totals under 1/10 of an inch, and maybe there may be an area south of LA that could rack up about 1/4 of an inch, but maybe less. Our highs for today hit 65 degrees normally. We're at 68. Lows placed at 50 today, and our normal 49. So as you can see, those lows, I talked about them dropping as we do push into a little bit later this week. We will see those numbers drop down into the low to mid 40s. Our skies out there right now, partly cloudy, mostly cloudy overnight, and we do have our temperatures sitting at 54 degrees for downtown, and our winds very calm. We have to brace ourselves for those winds starting to pick up later this week, but we got time before that happens. For now, back to you.
All right, we still have more news ahead right here at 8.
But first, here's a preview of what's coming up at 9. A fire destroys the site of a historic motel on Sunset Boulevard, used in movies like LA Confidential. Why this fire could have been prevented. Plus, Governor Gavin Newsom will be giving his State of the State address in a different way this month. We've got those details ahead at 9. Well, 93 years ago today, construction began on the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco. It was January 5th, 1933, when workers began clearing more than 3 million cubic feet of dirt to build the bridge's foundation. The bridge was completed in 1937.
It stretches 1.7 miles, which at the time was the longest span in the world. Officials say every year about 10 million people visit the bridge.
Makes me feel like I'm at home.
Yes, you lived in that area.
I'm born in San Francisco. I've been across the bridge countless times. Just kind of part of me.
Have you ever biked it on a bicycle?
No, I know
some tourists do that.
Yes, I've run it.
Oh, that's
yeah.
That's a good one.
I've run it during the San Francisco Marathon.
I've looked at it.
Hey, that's good enough. It's beautiful. Okay, don't go anywhere.
We're not done yet.
LA Live News Tonight continues at 9 o'clock. We'll see you there right after the break.
Live across SoCal, this is LA Live News Tonight on Fox 11 Plus.
Now at 9, a fire destroys the site of a historic motel used in movies like LA Confidential, but could it have been prevented? Plus a big mess left behind after our recent storm. Look at this muddy mess. And cooler temperatures heading our way. Meteorologist Star Harvey with a preview of what's on the horizon.
Well, we could be looking at those cool temperatures as early as the middle of this week, but we're also tracking maybe a spotty shower or two for tomorrow. I'll have all of those details and more coming up.
All right, Star, thank you so much. Good evening, everybody. You're watching LA Live News tonight at 9 o'clock on this Monday night. Thanks for being with us. I'm Marla Tejas. An early morning fire destroys the site of a historic motel in Hollywood. Fox 11's Matthew Seedorf, he's live with new information tonight. Matthew, the big question, of course, is could this motel have been saved?
Yeah, that's the question a lot of people are wondering, and we really might never know the answer, but a lot of people also devastated by what happened. Mike will show you kind of what's left of the motel. This is the outside, some of the famous signs, and then he'll go and show you the gate right here. You can see that it is locked off. All of this considered vacant at this point, but it really has been vacant for several months. If you're able to have the video of what's left of the Hollywood Center Motel, if not, you can take a look in here. Mike will show you. Essentially just giant piles of charred debris here inside the fence off of Sunset Boulevard. The building itself dates back to 1905, appeared in movies like LA Confidential, but in recent years it took on new ownership and turned vacant. Property was fenced off, but homeless still managed their way in for shelter. Firefighters haven't released the official cause of the fire, but squatters were inside. If you can see the video, you can see those charred piles of debris. One person was injured in the blaze, expected to be okay, but a whole lot of people upset. This piece of history is gone, and they feel like maybe something could have been done about it.
Hollywood Heritage was in the middle of trying to have this building designated. We had been, getting on the city and the council office and the building department to make this building secure, and time again it didn't happen.
Of course, squatters move in and set up camp and stay as long as I want, I guess.
I don't blame homeless people for going and finding a place where they can be safe for the night. I blame the city for refusing to hold property owners accountable when they buy a building like this with the intention of tearing it down, with no project planned, and they don't ask building and safety to make them secure it.
The situation is something that really happens all over across the city of LA. Right across the street from where we are in Hollywood, there's another vacant building. You can see it's fenced off right there. People are worried about that one. But the Cultural Heritage Commissioners are actually set to come to this motel on Thursday, later this week. They had pre-planned this, and they were going to talk about designating this as a historical site. There's still bungalows and a pool that's left, so it's possible that they'll be able to salvage it. But at this point, a lot of questions remain, as there's also a giant pile of rubble here right off of Sunset. Reporting live in Hollywood, Matthew Seedorf, Fox 11 News.
Matthew, I know you just are starting your piece on the on the hotel itself, but any response from the councilman or woman who represents this area and also the city itself?
Yeah, so far no response, and it was interesting just being out here tonight and speaking with people that live in the area. I mean, we were actually speaking with some of the people that considered this home. They've been living here for several months. They said that it was cold Sunday night and raining when this fire broke out. They were inside. Pretty interesting to hear from their perspective and all of this, and kind of you'll hear tonight at 10 o'clock what they think could be done to solve this across the city.
Okay. All right. Look forward to that. Matthew Seedorf, live for us in Hollywood. Thank you so much. New at 9, Skyfox over Koreatown tonight. A suspicious package shut down the metro station. This is Wilshire in Vermont. Just before 5 o'clock, the LAPD bomb squad on the scene using their Batcat robot to safely inspect the device. Nearby streets closed as authorities continue their investigation. And Skyfox over Granada Hills, a Tesla crashed into Alibaba Persian restaurant on Chatsworth Street this afternoon. As you see, shattering windows, scattering debris. The car's front end heavily damaged after it jumped the curb, smashed through that whole dining area. No injuries reported, and authorities have not yet said whether the driver will face charges. New tonight, 2 suspects accused of planning bombings in Southern California pleaded not guilty today. Audrey Carroll and Zachary Aaron Page were arraigned in an LA federal court. Prosecutors say their group, the Turtle Island Liberation Front, allegedly planned New Year's Eve attacks on businesses and ICE agents. Authorities arrested them in the Mojave Desert, where they were allegedly making explosives. Both face conspiracy charges. Their trial is set for February 17th. Developing tonight, we're hearing from the family of a man who authorities say was firing gunshots in celebration of the new year when he was shot and killed by an off-duty ICE agent. Fox 11's Rachel Aragon went to Universal City, where the family's attorney is calling for a thorough investigation.
His heart. Oh my God, he just loves so deeply.
Just days into the new year, the mother of 43-year-old Keith Porter is still filled with grief and disbelief. According to law enforcement, her son Keith fired celebratory gunshots into the air with an AR-15 style rifle outside his apartment complex on New Year's Eve.
Armed with an AR-15 rifle, possibly suffering from a gunshot wound.
An LAPD report states the off-duty federal officer confronted Porter, identified himself as law enforcement, and claims Porter fired toward him, prompted the officer to return fire.
What should have been a simple arrest and possible a citation has turned into a death sentence.
The family's attorney says this all could have been avoided.
But instead of staying in his apartment for a trained law enforcement officer from LAPD to respond, he made the premeditated and calculated decision to grab a firearm.
Fox 11 reached out to the Department of Homeland Security. In a statement, the department said the off-duty ICE officer bravely responded to an active shooter situation at his apartment complex. In order to protect his life and that of others, he was forced to defensively use his weapon. DHS goes on to say their officer immediately called police.
According to his version, Keith shot 3 shots towards him. We have questions on if there was any shell casing recovered from Keith's weapon that would indicate he in fact fired the weapon 3 times.
Keith's family and their attorneys say they have yet to find a witness to corroborate that the father of 2 fired towards the off-duty officer. In Universal City, Rachel Aragon, Fox 11 News.
Some of the storm damage now. The latest storm took out another massive tree. Look at this one. Skyfox over Van Nuys and the San Fernando Valley this morning, where you can see that tree is blocking the entire street. This is Forbes Avenue in the Lake Balboa area. The tree also took out some power lines. Street services and DWP crews were there to repair and clean up. No injuries reported. The rain wreaking havoc in Lancaster. Skyfox overhead as 2 cars are completely submerged in mud. This was this afternoon. Crews were there trying to clean up the mess. All right, live look outside. This is from West Los Angeles, Bundy Drive, where we are in West LA. And by and large, though, wet weather has moved on. Let's check in with meteorologist Star Harvey for a look at this week's. It's really the first official week of 2026.
Yes. With the first official week here, we do have a turnaround in weather events. You know, to get us through our first weekend of the new year, we had just pretty, I'd say, chaotic wet weather around here. It was a wet mess. As we look as to what's happening out there right now, most of us are under dry conditions. We do have a few spots showing up with precipitation across the area, most of it off to the north and west of LA as of now. As far as our temperatures, we are in the 50s, a few 60s holding on across Anaheim. There we got 50 in Diamond Bar, 54 in Riverside, and down in Torrance 55 degrees. Our winds right now, they are doing excellent, moving very calmly out there, 3 to about 5 miles per hour. Our winds are expecting to kick up later this week with our next Santa Ana wind event that rolls in here, and even our temperatures that they are doing right around what they should be doing. Tonight we'll drop down into the 40s as well as the 50s. We will see our overnight lows moving into the later half of this week drop down, so it's going to be cool. We have more winds on the way, and there is a slight chance for precipitation trying its best to make it in here. I'll have those details coming up. For now, Marla, back to you.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Star. New tonight, LAPD detectives arrest a rental fraud suspect and are looking for help finding an accomplice. Police say 38-year-old Alfred Earl Jackson, who went by Igor, was arrested December 30th near 8th and Olive Streets for identity theft. Investigators say Jackson used multiple aliases and worked with another suspect known only as Manuel. Manuel is described as a black man in his 20s or 30s with braided hair, a thin mustache, and a goatee. Only on Fox 11, a string of bold burglaries targeting collectible card shops. Thieves making off with hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of rare items. Fox 11's Gina Silva talked to store owners about this latest crime wave.
Armed with saws and crowbars, burglars smash display cases and take collectible cards from Simi Valley Sports Cards early Sunday morning.
This has been happening to a lot of local shops in LA and Ventura counties. I mean, it just keeps happening.
On Sunday night in West LA, thieves targeted another card shop.
They were robbed at gunpoint and assaulted for about between $300,000 and $500,000 worth of their collection.
You heard right, between $300,000 and $500,000 worth of Pokémon cards. Danny Lesterman, co-owner of RWT Collective, says the victim was a customer who had just left the shop.
In the video, we can see these two gentlemen come in, just quickly look at a group of people showing off and sharing their high-end cards.
Security cameras captured these two, who Danny says were later identified by the victim. We are not showing their faces because police have not officially named them as suspects. Store employees believe the two men targeted the victim and followed him into the parking garage.
We already had a smash and grab a couple months ago, a really meticulous, professional, well-thought-out operation where they found the only weak spot in the wall and sawed through blindly from the other side, and were in and out in a matter of 3-4 minutes.
For those who are not into Pokemon cards, it might be hard to believe some are worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. Danny explains it like this.
It's not just a card game that people play, but it's also something that people collect, and it can have really wide-ranging levels of value. There are some out there that are famously going for more than $1 million right now.
The LAPD is investigating the robbery here in West LA, while the Simi Valley Police is investigating the burglary in their city. If you know anything about these two cases, contact authorities. I'm Gina Silva, Fox 11 News.
Still ahead at 9, gunfire is heard near Venezuela's presidential palace after Maduro's arrest. Denmark warns the U.S. over Greenland and NATO, and how California's Venezuelans are reacting. Plus, why are influencers and OnlyFans models now qualifying for a visa once reserved for top artists? We'll explain. Developing tonight, gunfire erupts near the presidential palace in Caracas, Venezuela. The violence comes hours after ousted President Nicolas Maduro appeared in a New York courtroom. Video shows heavy gunfire and people fleeing the streets. Fox's Connor Hansen has the latest on what comes next.
Venezuela's former leader starting to lay the groundwork of his case before a judge Monday in what might end up being a prolonged legal battle over whether he can stand trial here in the U.S. Former Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro entering a not guilty plea Monday in Manhattan federal court. The deposed dictator faces charges alleging he oversaw an illegal drug network that trafficked cocaine into the United States.
Mr. Maduro made it very clear before the judge that he believes that he had been kidnapped and that he was still, at this time, the legitimate president of Venezuela.
Legal experts have questioned whether the U.S. operation to seize Maduro violated international law. But with the case being tried on U.S. soil, that may not matter.
The fact that he is being arraigned in a court in New York in the Southern District is a sign that the DOJ believes that this case has great merit.
Meanwhile, top lawmakers were briefed Monday on Capitol Hill, with Democrats pressing the White House for answers.
Their plan for the U.S. running Venezuela is vague, based on wishful thinking, and unsatisfying.
The administration insists it's following all the proper protocols.
Very highly successful military operation. I think we should be talking more about the skill, competency, precision of the greatest fighting force the world has ever seen.
Maduro will be back in court on March 17th. In New York, Connor Hansen, Fox News.
Meanwhile, President Trump says action could be taken against Colombia, Cuba, Mexico, Iran, and Greenland. Denmark's prime minister warns any U.S. move to take over Greenland could threaten NATO and calls it catastrophic. Russia's UN ambassador condemns the action as a return to lawlessness. Mexico's president says foreign intervention never brings stability and urges the U.S. to address its own drug demand. Cuba calls the capture of Maduro, quote, state terrorism and a violation of international law, adding that 32 Cubans were killed in Venezuela during the military operation. About 30,000 Venezuelans live in California. Well, we wanted to know what they thought about Maduro's arrest. Fox 11's Christina Gonzalez went to different parts of Southern California to find out.
Making traditional Venezuelan arepas. One of the many restaurants catering to a community reacting to this weekend's capture of Nicolás Maduro by U.S. troops in Venezuela. We are grateful for Trump's actions, says the owner of Nova Bakery in Long Beach. At Chamo's restaurant in Pasadena, Venezuelans gathered to celebrate upon hearing the news. The owner explaining why so many left that country.
No medicine. You see kids go on the garbage for food.
People died looking for a better life, says Josue Diaz. He says he sold his motorcycle in Venezuela 2 years ago and snuck out of the country. He ran to get this tattoo when he heard of Maduro's capture.
We are happy and nervous at the same time, because we don't know what's going to happen.
The owner of Full Arepas in downtown L.A. echoes others, saying Maduro may be out of Venezuela, but his government remains in place. And the battle for control of the country's oil reserves, the largest in the world, is concerning, even as Venezuelans in L.A. are saying,
this is the first step, the first hope for Venezuela.
Gracias. The Instagram message from Maria Conchita Alonso, the Cuban-born Venezuelan-American actress, has been posting and protesting violence against Maduro's opposition in Venezuela for years.
Thank you, and welcome 2026.
Another reason for Venezuelans here to be happy is that Homeland Security just announced that those here under temporary protective status can now apply for asylum. In Los Angeles, I'm Christina Gonzalez, Fox 11 News.
Social media influencers are reshaping U.S. visa applications. Immigration attorneys tell the Financial Times they've seen a rise in influencers and OnlyFans models applying for O-1B visas, which are typically reserved for exceptionally creative immigrants. These visas, once dominated by traditional artists, now often go to influencers with large followings and brand deals as proof of their talent. Critics argue this shift prioritizes popularity over artistic merit, potentially sidelining non-digital creators. Still, O-1B visas remain a small portion of all U.S. non-immigrant visas. Well, coming up, this winter storm is leaving roads in rough shape with potholes causing blown-out tires and costly repairs. So what is the city doing? We'll show you on the other side of the break. The recent storm causing a slew of pothole problems all across Southern California. Many drivers now left with blown out tires and damage. Repair crews working around the clock to plug up those holes. Fox 11's Haley Winslow went to West LA to check it all out.
Worse than LA traffic? Potholes.
Oh my gosh, it stresses me out every day. I'm thinking about the alignment on my car.
I hate it so much.
We just can't believe that these aren't fixed, and we've seen people ruin their cars.
Recent rain has wreaked havoc on Southern California roads, toppling trees, triggering mudslides, and weakening the structure of streets, creating the potholes we know and hate.
And I get so frustrated with the city. I'm like, well, where's our money going? Somebody please.
The city of LA says repair crews are working overtime to keep up with damage left by the holiday storms, with a goal of repairing reported potholes by the next business day. For drivers, that help can't come fast enough. LAPD shut down La Brea Avenue near West Haven Sunday night after 15 cars blew tires hitting the hazard. And a similar scene in Playa del Rey. Culver Boulevard temporarily closed after too many pop tires.
No joke, like 8 cars parked on the side and there was like 2 tow trucks.
I've almost come into a head-on car accident because I'm trying to avoid the pothole and not paying attention to where I'm going. So yeah, it's pretty ridiculous.
It's something that should easily be fixed, especially if it's a busy street.
Even more dangerous, hitting one on a road bike.
You could seriously hurt yourself on a bike if you hit a pothole. Yeah, you could fly right off.
What would you compare the annoyance of hitting a pothole to?
Oh, that's a good question. Getting pooped on by a bird when you're just walking down the street.
That's supposed to be good luck, right? Hitting a pothole can't
exactly.
be.
Nothing positive about potholes. Now flooding our streets as SoCal finally dries out.
If you'd like to report a pothole, you can call 311 or go to the My LA 311 app. In West LA, I'm Haley Winslow, Fox 11 News.
Weather is sponsored by American Career College.
Live look outside West Los Angeles. Meteorologist Star Harvey taking a look at the first full week of 2026, and the rain has come and gone. We can say that, right?
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and agree with you. For the most part, we will get through the rest of our work week here on dry ground. Now, there may be a pop-up shower here or there across the area Tuesday and Wednesday, but most of us will pretty much look like what's happening outdoors right now, where we do have those partly cloudy to mostly cloudy skies now through tomorrow. And then pushing towards the end of our week, we are tracking not just the chance for some Santa Ana winds to make their way into the region, but also a couple of cool nights and early mornings are on the horizon. Now, here's a look at our satellite and radar. We do still have the center of that system sitting offshore to the north of us. So yes, it is bringing most of its impacts across the San Francisco area, San Jose, Sacramento, moving all the way up north near Chico and down towards Monterey. Fresno may start to see some of that wet weather as well. More locally, we do have San Luis Obispo seeing some of those showers, light drizzle, and that's the case down here closer to home as well. So across the LA basin, our high deserts, our coast, but also some of our inland empire and down into our low deserts, we are mostly under dry conditions. Now, I went ahead and pulled up some rain totals over the weekend. We saw a lot of rainfall both Saturday as well as Sunday, and some of us more than others. So the last 72 hours here, Montecito up near Santa Barbara saw over 2.5 inches. And then we have Sierra Madre near the Altadena area where we saw the area get more than 1.5 inches. Bringing you down to Topanga Canyon where we have those road closures at across Topanga Canyon Boulevard. We do have over 3/4 of an inch accumulated there. In Santa Monica, we did see over 1/2 inch. Now, that system, it will continue to slide its way into our region. So working through tomorrow and into the middle of our week, the system is expected to set up to the south of us, so likely to bring in most of its moisture south of LA, but moving into tomorrow, and yes, Wednesday, we do have, again, about a 10% chance of that rain making its way into our region. Otherwise, we have high pressure that is working its way in here. And so by Thursday, we do start to see those winds pick up because, again, of this clockwise motion moving around this system. And those winds will impact us Thursday through at least our weekend, also warming us up. More details and your 7-day coming up. Marla.
I'm Laura Diaz in Sherman Oaks, where flu cases are spiking all over the country. Coming up, I'll tell you how Southern Californians are weathering this nasty flu.
Plus, fewer shots, but at what cost? Big changes may be coming to childhood vaccine requirements. So why? We'll tell you why this could be a major win for Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
across SoCal. This is LA Live News Tonight on Fox 11 Plus.
Well, a surge of flu cases being reported in Southern California tonight. Fox 11's Laura Diaz, she's live for us in Sherman Oaks with information for those who have it and for those who do not want to get it. Laura.
Yes, Marla, I talked to 2 physicians this evening, and they tell me it's not too late to get a flu shot. You can still get one, and if you've already got it, there are things you can do to make yourself more comfortable.
Oh my gosh, she's so good, right? So brave. So brave. Can I get a high five? Good job.
This video of people getting vaccines for free against the flu shows people lining up at Cedars-Sinai. That small child you heard from right off the top pretty much took it in stride. But doctors say the flu is still surging. Likely it took off at Thanksgiving. Now, in large gatherings of people, it tends to spread quickly. Some studies show it's beating last year's numbers. The flu most often reported is H3N2. Symptoms are fever, body aches, shortness of breath, but there is some relief.
In the hospital, we haven't seen a large number of severe cases of influenza. So a lot of the kids are being seen at their doctor's offices, at urgent cares, in the emergency room.
Of course, we know that the CDC put out new directives today, cutting down the number of vaccines that young children need to get. All of the physicians I spoke to said that they here in LA County are following the directive from the state of California, which says there is no new scientific evidence indicating that the existing childhood vaccination schedule is ineffective or unsafe. So in other words, they are telling you that you should get your child vaccinated against the flu and any other potential diseases that a child could contract. I'm Laura Diaz reporting live from Sherman Oaks, sending it back to the studio. Marla?
Laura, thank you so much. We do have some more information regarding that. The U.S. is ending its longstanding practice that children get vaccinated against the flu and 3 other diseases. The sweeping change advances one of Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s long-term goals. Shots for rotavirus, the flu, hepatitis A, hepatitis B, and meningitis will no longer be recommended. Kids will go from getting 17 shots, theoretically, to getting 11. Public health experts warn the rollback could lead to preventable hospitalizations and deaths. All right, we are following breaking news. A high speed seems to be already a wild pursuit. That Skyfox is live and over. And this is in Encino, Balboa Boulevard and Orange Line Busway, according to our extreme nav technology. We got the night sun on it to help keep an eye on this. We are still looking forward to hearing the original want for this. The lead agency, we can suspect it's LAPD, but it may have started on the freeways and could be CHP. If I could get that one more time from our executive producer, Haley Hurst, telling me that our faithful police expert, Tim Lynn, is joining me now on the line. Tim, I'm just getting some information on this one, so you probably know more than I do. It looks like we're getting on the 101 northbound here.
Yeah, it's Valley units are in pursuit, LAPD, in pursuit of a DUI suspect that they've been chasing now for about 20 minutes. And you can see him getting on the freeway here, going to be cutting through traffic and working his way through. But they've already attempted a spike strip a couple times. They went into surveillance mode at a point when the driving got completely out of hand. But because of the way he was driving, they were trying to bring it to an end because they were afraid somebody was going to be involved in an accident with this suspect. But right now, LAPD looks like they're going to stick with it here on the northbound 101 freeway coming out of Encino through White Oak. So the speeds are very high. This driver has been very erratic. And the turns and the speeds that he has been picking up on surface streets were really out of hand at one point. So luckily, hasn't hit anybody as of yet, but they have attempted, as I said, the spike strip down on the surface streets. Did not hear over the radio if they were successful or not. But right now, DUI suspect trying to get away here on northbound 101.
Yeah, wobbly behind the wheel. You can see that playing out in real time here live. You talk about those speeds on surface streets. According to Skyfox here, we're up to 100 miles per hour as we're cruising along the 101. And Tim, when we talk about these suspects, whether it's a stolen vehicle suspect, I mean, a DUI suspect has to be one of the worst out there given the impaired person behind the wheel.
That's correct. Yeah, it's the you can see a little bit of damage on that left front
I'm
fender,
seeing that too.
Apparently made contact with somebody else. Whether a DUI suspect, no matter whether it's alcohol or drugs impairment, you do have that impairment that inhibits their ability to drive, and when they get going really fast, their reactions are diminished, so they're not going to be able to control that vehicle as well as somebody who is not under the influence. But we find with these drivers that get up to high speeds, they're not used to driving that high of a rate of speed in a congested freeway, and then some of the moves they make, they tend to lose control. But you see it kind of wobbling along. You see the back and forth on the steering wheel there. That's kind of telling me that there's a little bit of impairment, or he's having a mechanical issue with the front end. So right now, LAPD just doing the best they can to stick with it, keep the air unit overhead, calling that pursuit for the ground unit so they can back off just a little bit. As he gets off now, it looks like we're getting off here in Woodland Hills, off at Winnetka, and we'll see which way he goes when he gets off here.
Yes.
Looks like that's going to be a northbound on Winnetka from the 101. And now you're back into the surface streets with the cross traffic, the intersections, pedestrians, and all those other things that come into play that officer in pursuit has to stay with.
Okay, so speeds on the surface streets in the 60s right now, touching the double yellow. A DUI pursuit suspect is wanted. LAPD Valley units are behind, tracking the suspect. Erratic driving behind the wheel, no surprise, given that it is a DUI suspect. Oh, so scary. Especially now we're on the wrong side of the road, Tim. Tim Lynn on the line with me, law enforcement expert. You've done this a million times in your career. How do you bring this to an end? Yes, spike strips were deployed, didn't seem to do the trick. What do you do here?
You try again. You just try to get in an area. He has been just swerving around there, and things like that is where the driver will lose control of that car if he gets a little bit out of shape as he goes through those intersections, bouncing through. But what you try to do is stick with him as best you can and try again on the spike strip, because at these speeds, running up in the high 60s, pit is out of the question here. That's snapping over to the right around traffic here, coming up on an intersection to see through the parking lot. Hopefully he gets stuck in here, but no, it worked his way through. The driver has been staying in this area. He worked this area for about 20 minutes, and then, like I said, as that driver got on the freeway, worked its way out, but came right back to the same area. So familiar with the streets, more than likely the way this person is driving. But at these speeds, all they can do, and I can see it right now, that CHP that's behind them is right now. That was a CHP that's number one in the pursuit. So they're assisting with LAPD, cutting down that center divider. Just imagine driving home tonight and you have this drive by you. So you have to keep your head on a swivel while even cruising home in the evening, because there's people like this on the road driving at these high rates of speed.
And around the holidays, we've talked about so much about you bring up CHP, and now they're in hot pursuit of this suspect. We've talked about the dangers of drinking and driving, the stepped up enforcement from all law enforcement agencies up and down the state of California. And every holiday season, oh my goodness. And you see the pedestrians in the crosswalk there as well. Canoga Park here, Van Owen Street and Independence Avenue. That was the last intersection that this driver blew through. Getting back to stepped up enforcement, that has since expired, I believe, as now we're way on the wrong side of the road here, Tim.
Yeah, just trying to get that officer to back off by driving like that. There was no reason for them to go down that number 2 lane of the opposite direction. Drivers will do that in these pursuits. They'll go on the wrong side of the street. They'll start driving very recklessly to try to get those officers to back off. But that intersection where he started to make the right turn and the pedestrians there more than likely has carrying too much speed in the turn, realized that that driver was not going to make that turn, so bailed out of it. Luckily, those pedestrians are out of the way, because I guarantee you this driver did not see them until he was that driver was into the turn. Now, right now, we don't know if it's a he or she that's driving. It really doesn't matter at this point. It's just trying to get this driver stopped, because the method which they're pursuing along here, eventually they're going to lose control of this vehicle and end up either hitting somebody in an intersection or end up hurting themselves. Now, on the wrong side of the street, CHP officer kind of working over with him, hopefully trying to get him on a turn, because that's, in a pursuit like this, at these speeds, the only time you can do a pit is in a turn when they slow down. You have to be ready for it, get in there, and get on that fender. But unfortunately, I have not seen the two other police vehicles behind, because you really need 3 units to do a pit maneuver and do it successfully. Very hard turn to the right here. It's just, drivers sticking with it. I mean, handling this car very well. Obviously, that one spike strip they put out didn't work. All 4 tires seem to be in good shape, just other than that little bit of traffic, a little bit of damage on that left front fender. So CHP sticking with it. You see the LAPD airship flying through. They're the ones calling the pursuit, and they're on LAPD frequencies as well as onto CHP frequencies, keeping everybody informed of the direction of travel and speeds on this vehicle. But look at this, just
hard
making that right turn.
And now we're going to go left again. Yep, just to try and get away from CHP. Talk about how CHP now taking over, Tim, the difference that this could make in terms of CHP tends to be a little bit more aggressive, no?
That was exactly what I was thinking. Yeah, LAPD has been very pulled back on their pursuit policies. They very rarely will stick with a pursuit like this. It's just a matter of policy and procedure through each department. Now, CHP has a more aggressive type pursuit policy. They'll stay with the subject and stay with it as long as they can to try to take them into custody and figure out a way to stop this. If it gets too much more than what it is right now, I'm pretty sure that CHP commander is going to go, hey, we've had enough of this. Let's get off it. The only reason they came back into the pursuit is because it got on the freeway and was looking like it was going to stay on the freeway. Once CHP takes over pursuit, the other allied agencies, as they're called, do not get involved. CHP does not allow allied agencies to be involved in any pursuit in which they have control of. So should an LAPD unit come in and take over the pursuit, or come in and join in the pursuit, the CHP officer will inform the area unit that they need to back out. If they don't, they will terminate the pursuit as far as CHP. But this CHP officer is sticking with it. And looks like we might have an LAPD unit back in primary there. It looks like an Explorer vehicle there as they get a little wider, but that does look like an LAPD car.
Yeah, so
as they push through.
Our executive producer is in fact confirming that it is now LAPD. So what is with the back and forth toggle between who runs this and who doesn't?
It's whose area it's in, and the reason they do that is for the familiarity of the area. They know the streets. The LAPD officers that work these surface streets know them very well. They know the area because that's their area responsibility. CHP is real good about the freeways. They know their freeways. They know their areas around the freeways. Also, it's the responsibility and the liability, if you get down to the very base of it, who's liable for the pursuit now. Now, CHP has backed out, and now LAPD has taken over the pursuit, and now the liability with the safe operation of this pursuit lays on LAPD. And you see they're just holding back just a little bit, not as aggressive as that CHP officer was. And they'll just stay back and let that air unit handle the pursuit, because that's normally what you do. You let the air unit call it for you. He's not going to get away from the helicopter. This driver's not going to get away from the helicopter, but you're able to stay back and drive a little safer. But, man, they're really on this. Those turns are really wide and hard. And the thing now that the officer has to think about is that vehicle, its brakes are heating up. And as the more it heats up, you get into a situation where it's called brake fade, to where the brakes just stop working as efficiently as you think they're going to. You come up to an intersection, you smash on the brakes, and there's nothing there because they've heated up so much that the brakes don't operate normally. And what you're expecting to stop doesn't work. So that's what you start looking for. And you worry about that on your own car, too, as well. As you're chasing, you want to make sure you take care of that, because I've seen officers come up the intersections and not have any brakes left as they go through. So you got to be careful. But now you got you see 4 units involved along with that area unit as we come out wide, watching they go down. Luckily, traffic is kind of thinned out a bit in this area, but the speeds are, up in the 70s, and that's way too fast for the conditions and for the type of roadway they're on. So they're not designed for those types of speed. Plus, you have other innocent drivers out there that have no idea what's coming their way.
Yeah, no idea at all for most of these drivers around them on this Monday night. It set speeds in the almost 8. Okay, now we're into the 80s on the surface streets here in Chatsworth, Mason Avenue, and CHP was on it for some time, but now it's LAPD in hot pursuit of this DUI suspect behind the wheel. It's a gray sedan here. It looks to be blacked out windows, tinted windows. Haven't gotten a glimpse of anybody inside. Law enforcement always expects the worst. So we have a DUI suspect. They always assume that they're armed. There have been at least one spike strip attempt that did not bring the car to a stop. Now we are kind of getting a peek. Did you see that peek, Tim Lynn, of the driver? Hard to make out really any detail.
Yeah, I'm just seeing an arm sticking up in the window, and yeah, you have to deal with it as an officer. You have no idea what's in that vehicle while you're chasing it, because the back windows are most vehicles now are blacked out. You have the rear passengers blacked out, and unless you can get a peek, but man, look at that turn! Just at the last minute, deciding to make that turn and thinking they're going to get away from that unit that's behind them, and obviously that's not going to happen. You have that 50,000 candle power night sun shining on you. You know you're not going to get away from that A-star that's overhead. But yeah, you don't know what's in there. And yeah, the officer that initiated this pursuit saw something with the vehicle, assumed it may be a DUI because maybe weaving, maybe something with the mannerism which the person was driving. They could even have had contact with the driver and he drove away. We don't know that. But right now the initial want is DUI. But you have to expect the worst, because it's a lot easier as that officer on this scene to expect the worst. And when you do that, you're keyed up, ready for whatever may happen, and then you're able to back down at that force continuum as it develops at the end of the pursuit, because it's very hard to play catch-up than it is to slow down. So you have to keep that in mind.
Let me just jump in here really quickly. We're hearing, we're working to get this confirmed, that the driver may be armed. How much more dangerous does this make this entire event, Tim?
It just makes the end very dangerous, because now the officers are going to be on high alert. They're going to be very careful when this thing comes to an end. They're not going to be as casual as they would with just a drunk driver. And now that the information, how that came out is the weapons, you see going by another crime scene there, almost looks like. But anyway, yeah, now they're on high alert. They're up to a 9.5. touching the 10, as we would say. You have to be ready for anything at this point. Now you have credible information. This driver is armed, desperately trying to get away, and if it comes to a stop, is he or she going to continue to try to get away by firing at you, by running with a gun? Now you have to chase an armed individual into the darkness and try to catch him without getting yourself hurt. So all that's going through an officer's mind at this point. And at the end of the pursuit is the most dangerous, because you don't know what's going to happen, and you're trying to catch up at the end, but you're ready for anything. So right now we're just lucky this driver hasn't hit anybody at these speeds going down these regular surface streets, but on the brakes, making that turn up, change the mind, go straight, but right through a red light.
Yeah, you've noticed some front end damage, driver's side. Unclear how that damage got there. There have been, we're told now, at least 2 spike strip attempts. That has not stopped this pursuit. If you're just joining our coverage, maybe you're streaming us online, foxla.com/live. Thanks for jumping on. This is a really dangerous situation now in Chatsworth. We picked it up in Encino. Speeds in the 70s, 80 mile per hour on the surface streets. We've seen them as high as 90 miles per hour. On the highway, we saw 100+ miles per hour. Erratic driving, a DUI suspect behind the wheel, and now we're hearing reports, working to get it confirmed, that the driver is armed. CHP took it over for some time on these surface streets. Now LAPD back in charge. You see it's a 4-door silver sedan, tinted windows. We got a quick glimpse of the driver. It looks to be a male, but hard to distinguish from this vantage point. Speeds now, Tim, 80+ miles per hour. This could not be more dangerous.
That's right. Riding down the center divider in the wrong side of the street, going by vehicles, and then making these erratic turns. You can see they're making that left turn, and almost got a good shot of the driver there as they went around. At least the window is down. Maybe we can get a peek at them as they go here as Skyfox zooms in. But you see that tinted window is just a little bit open at the top, so you can see through there. But yeah, the driver is doing things that the normal driver, even in a pursuit, with no reason to go on the wrong side of the street. He's not going around traffic. He's just that driver is just going on the wrong side of the street for no reason and going through intersections like that at 75 miles an hour. Other drivers are not expecting that. They see a set of headlights coming at them. They're getting ready to make that right turn or that left turn, and they're expecting that vehicle to be at 30 miles an hour, and they don't recognize that speed is doubled that. And they start a left turn and realize that car got on me a lot quicker than I expected, and that's where you end up with that T-bone crash in the middle of the intersection. Or somebody goes through a green light not expecting anybody to be coming along at that speed. So it's just a matter of time here before this driver either loses control of this vehicle and hits a curb or hits an object or hits a parked car, or the worst off, it hits somebody innocent other driver in the middle of the intersection. And that's the one thing that LAPD has to weigh on continuing this pursuit. And with the information that there's possible a firearm involved, now what other information do they have? How did they get that information about the firearm? Is there something else? Did this person commit a crime? Because in my experience as a police officer of over 30 years, this person is trying to get away and not give up. And these speeds aren't the joyride that we've seen where you see suspects cruising at 50 miles an hour, obeying the traffic laws, using their turn signals and things of that sort. We've seen in so many other pursuits. This person is definitely trying to make distance and get away from the officer behind him. But as I said earlier, sticking in the same area. We've been in this area pretty much the whole pursuit, other than that little stint on the 101 freeway. So my theory is that this person is trying to stay in familiar area until they can get a little distance with that car behind. So right there, started to go through, went through on the red. That was just a matter of 15 seconds more, and he had traffic crossing in front of him. So that's the luck we're having so far. But LAPD doing a great job sticking with them, and luckily nothing's happened at this point. But the only thing they have right now is a spike strip or a possible pit if this person slows down on one of those turns.
Yeah, and doubtful that will happen, given that since we've been on the air, I think 50 miles per hour is the slowest that we've seen this driver going, if that. So speeds in the 70s right now, DeSoto Avenue and Ingomar Street, Canoga Park. LAPD, they're now in charge of this pursuit, crossing over the double yellow, sharp left turn through that intersection. Satakoy Street is what we're on right now. DUI suspect wanted. This has been going on for some time, and no word yet on if any vehicles have been hit, because there is some front end damage to this sedan. Unclear if that was there prior or that happened during this pursuit. Winnetka now, according to our extreme nav technology. We have Tim Lynn, law enforcement specialist with decades of law enforcement under his belt and his career. You've been here, you've done that, and we have to hit home the point that it doesn't get more dangerous than this. A potentially armed DUI suspect on a Monday night, and there are so many innocent people out there who have no idea what's coming up behind them.
That's correct. Yeah, at these speeds, things happen very, very quickly. And that officer in that lead vehicle, the number one in the pursuit, is running all these scenarios through his or her head, trying to think, what am I going to do if this happens? What am I going to do if that happens? All the time trying to keep their adrenaline down by breathing, calming themselves down, because this is very, very stressful to do a pursuit like this, because you're driving in an uncontrolled environment, everything moving around you. There's so many options of things that could happen, things that could pull out. It's not a controlled, confined course that you're driving on. You're on city streets with other people, some of which have high driving ability, and other people. See right
there it is.
Out of control.
There's that moment that you were anticipating at some point. I don't think there were any pedestrians right there, thank goodness, but that was just an out of control moment where almost flipped over, ends up on the other side of the street. You see the driver's hands up, Tim. You see the officers' guns drawn. And in terms of how this could have ended, this has to be one of the best case scenarios, right, Tim?
Yeah, what you saw right there was that he was coming up on the intersection so fast that when that car pulled across in front of him, that minor little correction to clear the back of that car caused that rear end to come around. Once he got past about 25 degrees, it goes into a spin. You're out of control. And luckily, didn't hit anybody, hit a pole, wrecked the car. Now the driver's in the process of giving up. Now the officers now are giving verbal commands for him to show his hands, keep his hands outside the car. They're eventually going to have him reach in, take the key out, throw it out, just in case this car is able to drive still. But just looking at that damage, I doubt if it would be, but that's the procedure you go through. And now you stay in your position of cover and concealment, give orders to that driver to remove himself from that car. And now the point is they wait to see what happens, negotiate with that driver to get out. If the driver is injured, unable, then you have to take the next step. How do we do that? They pull out, just going to say, you pull out a shield, you line up an arrest team, and you slowly approach that car. Shield officer protecting the lead, walking up on that driver, and they have information that he is armed, and they're going to go up. And now what you have to then go to, from chasing this person for the last 40 minutes, lower your adrenaline. Now you become a point where you have to render aid to this person you've just chased for the last 40 minutes. Mm-hmm. And so that's a scenario you have to go from life-threatening situation now to a rescue, and go in there and make sure that they're okay. They may not be able to get out of the car, but you see right now they're just working on the driver. It looks like they're going to cut that seatbelt to get the seatbelt out of the way. You see that one officer, looks like that's what he's doing, cutting, and then work on extracting that driver from the car.
Tim, let me just jump in here really quickly. So this is Satakoy, and we just lost the location there. Forgive me, but this is where the out-of-control moment happened. That driver is now needing to be rescued by LAPD officers. Doesn't seem, I can tell you with certainty, that no...
TV's hit medical drama Doc is back. Don't miss its action-packed return.